drink or a glass of wine for 15, have at it. But we go for the rum punch. And this was the evening, well, the second evening we were there, and you'll notice that we all have our drinks, of course. And these people back here, they work with Don. They came over, said hello, and we got to meet them. Everybody knows everybody in the islands. So, we decided we would do a beach a day. We had 5 full days there. We did go to 4 beaches, and our second beach was Negros Bay. By the way, Linguist Beach is a 5-star beach. It's considered one of the finest beaches in the world. Negros Bay Beach was amazing. The whole time we were there, we saw maybe 10 people.
Wow.
Wow.
It was totally secluded. Right over here, we had a lifeguard, and that was it. There were no bars. There were no rum drinks. It was just us and the beach. It was amazing. There's Ellery. Ellery was going in, said hello. Don didn't get to make it with us today. He had to work that day, poor Don. And this was amazing. We saw a horse go by on the beach. And then he came back in the water. And I couldn't figure out how to download the tape so you could see him coming out of the water, but it was absolutely magnificent. This is a racehorse. And they actually put him through their paces in the water to strengthen them. So we wanted to get to know a little bit more of St. Thomas before we headed for Water Island. So a couple of quick ones here. I'm going to run over in time, but you guys know me. I usually do that. We went to, this is the island's version of Starbucks. And so that's where you can get your start in the morning if you need caffeine. This was for the Slider Showdown. Now the Slider Showdown is once a year. All of the restaurants come and they make sliders from seafood, from pork, from beef, every kind of you can imagine. There were exotic ones and there were plain ordinary ones. Everybody eats them and then votes on what's the best. It was also 95 degrees and about 85% humidity. So we ate our sliders and we headed to the beach. This beach is it's a step up. It's got its own bar. You can get some drinks. They had some entertainment. And sleazy entertainment is normal to the islands. Everybody's got a bar singer. These guys were drinking out in the floating bar, while we were preparing to go to the regular bar. So you'll notice that we had the same outfits every day, because that's what you do at the beach. And they're all different pictures, but it's the same outfits. And Don's wearing a bit of his rum drink right there on his shirt. Oh, Don! At the end of the day, this is what we watched before we headed back. And it was incredible. One other thing I want to say to you about this particular beach is that its distinction, is that it was an anchorage for way, way back in the early days of the explorers because it had freshwater ponds. And that's mainly what they came from. It's called Water Beach. And when the U.S. bought the islands from the Danish, they didn't get to buy Water Island because Water Island was owned by the East Asiatic Company. And it wasn't purchased until 1944, and it wasn't until 1996 that it was actually added as a U.S., it was just owned by the U.S. separately, and it was added as the 4th island. It's a quick ferry ride, which was lots of fun. So now it's time to see beaches, beaches, and beaches. I'm going to run through these so that you guys don't throw me off stage, give me the hook. As we drove we took the ferry over. It was a wonderful ferry ride, a long one. We had our car, and as we drove, we saw beaches and ruins. This is the ruins of a windmill that was used to process sugar cane. And this was up at the top of a mountain that had been kind of cut off, and obviously there had been a facility up there before. Everywhere you look, this was one, I think this was called Filler Crab Beach, but everywhere you looked, there was another beach. And as you notice, they're all mountainous. This is all volcanic islands. This is actually Annenberg Plantation, which was a sugar processing facility. And on the left, you see, this is the remains of the windmill. What I didn't realize is that the windmill, I always thought they were stationary, the term, but they actually can pivot like a sail on a sailboat to pick up the wind. But when the wind wasn't blowing, they brought up horses and mules to turn the crank, and that would force all of the sugar out of the out of the sugar cane. And then over here, Ellery's standing by the building where they were processed, where they used steam, which is hard to imagine what it must have been like with 95-degree heat, 85% humidity, and then you're going to apply steam to sugar. So this was tough, brutal work. And that was after it had been harvested, by the way. I've always wanted skinny legs, and I didn't get them down there, but we went to lunch at Skinny Legs. Now, one of the standards in the islands is chickens. You see chickens everywhere. You'll see whole chicken families. You hear the roosters in the morning. They're just chickens everywhere. Well, there was a whole group of chickens at Skinny Legs, and one of them decided to jump up on Ellery's shoulder and get his potato chips. Potato chips went everywhere. The proprietors were shooing all the birds away, and it was great fun. That was while we were drinking rum drinks, by the way. This is 17.VI Beach, where we decided to stake our territory for the day, and this is a panorama of that particular beach at the end of the day when everybody had left, because some of this beach actually attracts some of the people from the cruise ships. And Don said, you can recognize them, they all have the same towel, and they'll all leave at 4 o'clock when the whistle blows. This was on our ride back, this amazing weather all around us. We were never rained on once, but clearly somebody was getting rain somewhere. Beaches and friends are a perfect combination. I really think that I should call this speech Dogwood Toastmasters, Friends and Beaches, because we would not know Don without Dogwood Toastmasters. This is from Don's birthday party. We celebrated his 50th with him. He had 25 people from his office who came. We met them all. We're here on the beach having a wonderful time, and you guys all participated too. And when Don says, come see me, he means it. Call him.